The King and the Girl Who Carried Water in a Broken Calabash. Long ago, in a green kingdom nestled between the great river and the whispering baobab trees, there ruled a young king named Kofi Adam. He was handsome, wise in counsel, and brave in battle. Yet the elders worried because he had refused every princess and noble daughter brought before him. "I will not marry for gold, cattle, or powerful alliances," he always said. "I will marry the woman whose heart speaks truth louder than her lineage." The people whispered that their king had grown too proud. The years passed, and still he remained unwed. One dry season, when the river had shrunk to a thin silver thread, a terrible drought fell upon the land. The royal wells ran low, and even the king's own household began to feel thirst. Every morning at first light, the young women of the nearby village of Ninsawam would walk the long path to the last deep pool that still held water. Among them was a quiet girl named Akosua, the youngest daughter of a poor yam farmer. Her mother had died long before. Her father's back was bent from years of toil, and their only wealth was 3 goats and a patch of stubborn ground that barely fed them. Akosua owned only one calabash for carrying water. It was old, cracked in 3 places, and patched so many times that it looked like a tortoise shell, made of clay and hope. Yet every day she filled it carefully, balanced it on her head, and walked the hot path home without spilling more than a few drops. The other girls laughed at her broken vessel. "Why do you trouble yourself, Akosua?" they teased. "By the time you reach home, half your water will be gone. Even a child could carry more." Akosua only smiled gently and answered, "What I bring home is enough for my father, my little brother, the old grandmother next door, and the thirsty kid whose mother has no milk. That is enough for me." One morning, as the sun was still gentle, King Kofi himself, disguised in a plain white cloth and a wide straw hat, came walking the same path. He carried an empty gourd and pretended to be a traveler, searching for water. When he reached the pool, he watched Akosua fill her poor, cracked calabash. Water leaked steadily from the fissures, yet she hummed softly as she worked, untroubled. The king stepped forward. "Sister, why do you carry a vessel that wastes what it holds?" Akosua looked up, studied the stranger's face with calm eyes, and replied, "Brother, this calabash is like life itself. It is broken, yes, but because it is broken, the water that falls from its cracks waters the dry earth beside the path. See?" She pointed to the thin green line of grass and tiny wildflowers that followed the very trail where she always walked. "The birds drink here. The lizards are cool. The children who play along this path find shade from small grasses that would never grow without these drops. My brokenness feeds something, so I carry it with joy." The king stood silent for a long moment. Then he asked quietly, "And what if a king should ask for such a calabash to be his queen?" Akosua laughed, thinking it a joke. "Then that king would be a fool, for queens must carry golden vessels that never leak." But the stranger removed his hat, and the morning light caught the royal beads braided into his hair. The girls at the pool gasped and fell to their knees. Akosua, however, only bowed her head slowly, still balancing the leaking calabash. "I am no fool," said Kofi Adam. "I have searched for a heart that understands that even what the world calls broken can be beautiful and useful. I have found her. If you will have me, Akosua of Insawam, I would be honored to walk beside you and let your quiet drops of kindness water the whole kingdom." The drought ended soon afterward, as though the sky itself had been waiting for such a promise to be made, and so it was that the poorest girl in Ensawam became queen, not because of gold or beauty or powerful uncles, but because she carried her broken calabash with grace, and because she understood that sometimes the greatest riches fall through the cracks. To this day, in that green kingdom between the river and the baobabs, when a girl walks with a leaky pot and flowers spring up along her path, the old women smile and say, "See there, another queen is growing." And somewhere, perhaps, a young king is still searching, hoping to find the one who carries her brokenness like a blessing.